How do you know if you're not the world's best driver? Well, there are your friends.
You know you're tailgating, right?
There are your kids.
Who are we racing, Dad?
And there's man's best friend.
Want to go for a ride?
Fact is, 94% of us think we're good drivers. DriveWise from Allstate lets you prove it, with feedback to help you drive safer, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Download the Allstate app to get DriveWise and save up to 15%. DriveWise optional, savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
In the comments.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Chill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
What up, everybody out there in War Room Land? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports, War Room Sports Podcast. I want to host Dev McMillan at the round table with my brother, G Blueprint. Super Bowl 53 is this weekend. We'll break down some storylines surrounding the game. We'll give some analysis, make our initial Super Bowl picks. We'll also discuss in depth the Anthony Davis saga in the NBA, plus a breaking news. Giant blockbuster trade in the NBA just happened prior to us getting on the air. So keep it locked right here as we give you our point of view on everything going on. And if you want to get in on the conversations yourselves, make sure you sign right now to the AW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call directly in about 10 minutes after we gamble Gus with his Super Bowl 53 pick against the spread, and open the digital team tech hotline for 323-100-0012. But before we started, of course, you got to know how you can get at us.
Hey, Dad,
not live on the air. You can check out archived episodes of our show at warroomsports.com. The War Room Sports free app, iTunes,
hey, Dad, you sound
on
kind of
iOS.
crazy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm sounding crazy.
Oh, yeah, you're real choppy right now, brother.
Let me fix that.
All right, that should be fixed.
Yeah, you sound a lot better.
Yeah, so y'all can check us out. As I said, on the War Room Sports mobile app. You can check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Google, wherever you do your podcast listening. I don't know if you guys heard everything I said before, but, you know, we're going to talk Super Bowl 53. We're going to talk the Anthony Davis trade. We're going to talk the breaking news blockbuster that just happened prior to us getting on the air. Jim, what up, man? Y'all keeping warm up there? It's cold as fiznach in the United States right now.
Yo. It's extremely cold. Like, man, listen, it's so cold. Right, that I had to go to a property this morning, and I couldn't even get in because the locks froze. Like, it's that cold out here. It's ridiculous, man. Like, shout out to your man who said we need global warming to come help us because it's that cold.
He got to stop because right now he's doubling and tripling and quadrupling down because every time he tries to clown global warming, people correct him and let him know, like, yo, that's not really what it is, but he keeps doing it. So it's just, basically Trump being Trump. Like, y'all can tell me what's real and what's right, and I'm still going to do this because I don't hear anything else except for what I say. So that's your man. Tripping.
It's crazy, though, man, but I kept keeping in perspective because my wife's got family in Wisconsin, and they at minus 22 right now. So, at the time I'm complaining, some people got it worse, man.
The polar vortex is evil. Whoever that dude is, he is evil.
I just saw a story, about a boy who was a homeless man in Chicago, and he just straight froze to death. Like they found the boy, he was like literally a block of ice.
That's crazy. Because this is the time if you got any kind of heart. You overfill these shelters, you do something, man, but you get these people off the street. Like in Fargo, North Dakota, maybe 2 days ago with the wind chill there. It was like minus 65. I'm like, come on, who lives like that, man?
Yeah, that's drone.
It's like Siberia in America right now. It's like the North Pole out this piece. Yeah,
that's drone. That's absolutely drone. Like, what's the point of that? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, like, why? That's ridiculous, man. All right, so despite all the cold and crazy weather out here, our show, as usual, must go on. Shout out to B. Austin, who's not with us today. We'll talk a little bit more about the brother in just a little while. But right now, let's get into some hot topics, which are brought to you, of course, by MyBookie. War Room fan, real quick, let's talk about how much dough you can make betting on sports at MyBookie. Super Bowl 53 is here, and the NBA and NHL seasons are into their second half. So if you haven't checked out MyBookie, this is a great time to do just that. Lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. Join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag. You tired of getting a runaround from other services when it's time for a payout? That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. You win, they pay, fast, no hassles. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game start. That's crazy. So join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 100% bonus. 100%. But if you want to get that 100% bonus, you got to use the promo code, all caps, War Room, WARROOM. That'll activate that offer for you. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, and get paid, period. All right, so we're going to get on the phone line in just a second with the homie Gus Griffin, who finished the season, not including the Super Bowl, of course, because he has one more game to pick, but he finished the NFL season and playoffs with a 45-40-3 record. So he got that winning record for the year, late comeback just like last year. So we're going to get him on the line now and get his opinion on Super Bowl 53. Gus, what's going on, good brother? You there? Gus, can you hear us?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I
was like, where'd he go?
He was frozen or something, man.
Gus froze to death. Yeah, it's crazy out there. All right, so, yeah, I told him the record, 45-40-3. That's a pretty good year. Super Bowl 53 is upon us. The Los Angeles Rams taking on, the usuals, the New England Patriots. We got ourselves a 3-point spread here. Patriots are currently favored by 3. So what are your thoughts on the big matchup?
Well, England, anybody but here's the thing. These teams are amazingly they're pretty much well matched in terms of what they do and things of that nature. The Rams average just under 33 points a game. Patriots a little over 27. That's really the most dramatic statistical difference. Even in giveaway takeaways, which we discovered years ago is one of the most indicative stats for a game. The Rams are plus 11, the Patriots are plus 10. So I mean, what do you make of that kind of stuff? As a ABNET, ABNET, which means anybody but the New England Patriots. I'm an ABNET. I looked for reasons to pick the Rams, and I want to find a reason to pick the Rams, because we just can't have the Patriots win. That's just something that we're going to go with. So you look at them. They're relatively evenly matched. And I know you remember last year, y'all can remind me forever that I did pick the Patriots, and I was happy to be wrong. But this year I'm going to go against them. I think what I was looking for was to find the toughest opponent of each team and who comes closest to that team. Toughest opponent for the Rams was the Bears. The Bears just stymie them, and they stymie them like nobody else does. The Patriots don't have anything close to the Bears' defense, personnel for defense. The toughest matchup for the Patriots were the Tennessee Titans. They have a lot of depth at corner, and they were able to do the one thing that you can do for Tom Brady, as great as he's been, the one thing he's never had is elusiveness. He's never been all that mobile. And if you look at the stat, particularly, there's a lot of stats now. We're in a day and age where a lot of stats are just noise. This was a stat that's very relevant. When he gets rid of the ball under 2.5 seconds, 2.5 or less, his QB rating is well over 100. But if you put pressure on him beyond 2.5, it drops down to about 70. And that's a significant difference. So the question is, do the Rams have the personnel to do to Brady what Tennessee did to Brady? And I think
speaking of pressure, Gus, did you know that Tom Brady this season, of course it's not all the time, but this particular season, he was the worst rated quarterback in the NFL against the blitz. Well,
there you go. And that's even abnormal. I didn't actually find that out, but I think it speaks to he's getting older, and he never was all that mobile.
Right.
But the difference is after 2.5, we're not talking about Deshaun Watson or Mariota or even Carson Wentz when he's healthy. We're not talking about a guy who can extend the play. You know where the hell he's going to be at. And so along comes Fowler, along comes Littleton, along comes a rejuvenated Ndamukong Suh, and, of course, the great Mr. Aaron Donald. So I think they can get pressure on him, although there's one thing ironic about the Rams' pressure. They had 33 sacks, and one man had 20 and a half of them. So that makes me a little leery, but lately Sue has had a little revival. In the DBs, they've got Talib, who knows New England, and I don't think that's something you can dismiss. And they've got Sam Shields as that third corner. Yeah, they're a little long in the tooth, but New England doesn't have a guy who can stretch the defense anymore. So then you throw Peters in there. I think they can play
the only defense
enough.
stretcher they have actually plays for the Rams now, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. I think they can do enough bump and run coverage, get enough pressure to just shake. I mean, it's impossible for him to go through a whole playoff and not be sacked. The Chiefs nor the Chargers sacked him. That just can't.
Wow.
There's no way that can happen. And so I think they can get enough pressure to win a close one. I'm going to go with the Rams, 27-24 in that range, plus the 3. If you see 2.5, buy it down, get down to 3. But I'm going to go with the Rams plus 3 and to win outright.
All right. Well, there you have it. We'll see how this all plays out. It should be. I'm the closer the game gets, the more I actually like the matchup. Like, it doesn't seem like, and this is probably just from my point of view, my perspective, because last year was such a different type of year for me. Like the hype of the Super Bowl doesn't seem to be there. But I mean, if you're not from the New England area or L.A. right now, then that might be how you feel. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And we'll be doing our 30-minute pregame show on Sunday. It'll probably be well before the game. So if you have any change of heart, if you want to change anything, just let me know, and we'll get you on the air for that as well.
Will do, and the last column came out today about Novak Djokovic and some things about how he's turned around. The next column will be on how the Super Bowl played a role in lifting the government shutdown.
Okay.
And I'll get that to you by Sunday.
Okay, that should be interesting. That definitely sounds interesting. All right, Gus, well, we appreciate your time as usual, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks a lot. Stay warm, gentlemen.
Problem. All right, you too. All right, Gus Griffin, everybody, taking the Rams plus the 3. Look out on the website this weekend, warroomsports.com, to find out his thoughts on how the Super Bowl played a role in lifting the government shutdown. All right, so before we take calls, I just wanted to talk for a minute, Jim, about these rumors with the Phillies for the last few days and Bryce Harper. We basically heard yesterday from a tweet, very unofficial because it was like the only source that had it, that he had signed with the Phillies and was going to announce it at some point, either Tuesday or Wednesday that just passed. Now I'm seeing reports saying that Bryce Harper is in Vegas meeting with the San Diego Padres. today. So what are your thoughts on all of these rumors, man? Is it just Phillies fans just keep getting duped by all of these fake reports? Fake news?
Man, it's 2019, man. That's what's in, man. Just everybody trying to be the first to have a story. And also the idea of trolling is and getting attention is just what it is. So it's crazy, man, because I was looking for a reason to get excited, but you said something that was interesting, and I kind of noticed that too, but I didn't want to say it. Boy been falling off anyway. Not that we still wouldn't want him here, but at the same time, like it's not like it was, like, you know what I mean?
Right, and that's it's like, okay, when we get, the Phillies finally get an all season where they could be major players, it just seems like to me, I don't know, if this is 3 years ago, you're super excited, like, oh my God, Bryce Harper's a free agent, we got a shot at him. It's like now, like you just said, we want to sign him, of course. Shoot, we want to sign both of them if we can, him and Machado. But the excitement is just not really there for me because I'm in the Washington area. I get to see Bryce play a lot, and he went from a dude, especially when they played against the Phillies, he went from a dude that I absolutely feared every time he came to bat to just a dude where a lot of pitchers seem like they've kind of solved him. But we'll see. Hopefully he gets back to beast mode if he does indeed sign with Philly, and if he doesn't, I hope he continues his fall off. That's just how I feel. All right, so before we're gonna get into some of these NFL Super Bowl 53 storylines, but we got the homie Tobias on the phone line. He threatened me earlier, told me I better get to him and not make him wait. So I'm gonna take the threat seriously. We're gonna go to the phone lines. We got Tobias on the line. What's going on, Tobias? Roll Tide.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
Nothing much. What's up with you?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, if you didn't take my call, Dev, maybe wait. I would have had Kamala lock you up for 25 years. She loves locking up Negro.
Oh, man, leave my girl Kamala alone, man.
Hey, first thing first. Gus picked the Rams. I'm betting on the Patriots now. I'm not getting evicted out of my house. But here's the thing. If I'm the Rams, I will put Aqib Talib and have him shadow Edelman the whole game. Because you're not going to stop Gronk. Because he can throw that ball up to Gronk. But damn it, I'm going to make Edelman work for it. And when the Jets, those couple years when the Jets beat them and gave them hell in the playoffs on Rex Ryan, they had Revis checking Edelman and like their best slot guy. They said, we'll put our best corner in your best slot guy. And dare you to beat you with somebody else. I think the Rams got to do that.
That's funny that you say that because I was doing cover 2 with Fred the other day, and he said he thinks that they should have Aqib Talib follow Gronk around all day. So y'all both got dudes following somebody, just different people.
Yeah, because the Patriots going to establish that run. And that's the thing, like the Patriots remind me of the Golden State Warriors, got everybody fooled. Everybody think Golden State is jack up threes like they Houston, but all you see is mid-range jumpers and layups and post-up. But the Patriots, they think it's just Brady's winging it, but they always ran the football. And that's the key to their game. That's key to any successful NFL team, running the football. And that's the unsung thing about this NFL postseason for Brady.
Well, and my experience watching the Patriots, it's like it's hard to pinpoint exactly what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen a team adjust and totally change their game plan from week to week. Like, the Patriots can come out one week and throw the ball 50 times, and then the next week they'll come out and they're running the ball a bunch of times. They'll have a successful back. You think, okay, they got him going now. And then the next week, they're running the ball with a totally different back. Like, they may come out in the Super Bowl and Burkhead might get like 20 carries out of the blue. Even though James White is catching the ball out of the backfield like it's nobody's business. So it's like they're just so unpredictable, and it's amazing to me how they are that chameleon-like that they can just come out and switch up their whole game plan completely. So it's like they might be the team that's like you waste the most time watching film on them because you might come out, line up, and they might not do a damn thing that you saw on film. But the one thing that the Rams need to do is what Gus talked about earlier. They need to find a way to get some pressure on Tom Brady, no matter what the game plan is.
You know what? I know, like the big NBA news. It's kind of cool that the NBA has kind of crapped on Super Bowl week, all this player movement and talk about player movement. But
hold on, we got to break that. We got to break that before you. Because I know Tobias always come on here and talk about stuff that we got planned for later. So at least we can break the news before you do that. For anybody out there who hasn't heard, there's been a big trade in the NBA. The Knicks have dealt Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Courtney Lee to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Courtney Lee's going too. I don't think anybody cared, but in exchange for Dennis Smith Jr., who else did they get? DeAndre Jordan and Wesley Matthews, and I believe a first-round pick. So Knicks fans are all over social media. Knicks fans are going crazy right now because their team is, crapping on them again. I mean, I see what the Knicks are trying to do in the future, but if the Knicks aren't, rumored to get big free agents every time there are big free agents and strike out, I don't know what else. If they end up getting their man or men, then the fans will be totally happy. But right now, everybody's dumbfounded because Kristaps was the face of their franchise, even though we haven't seen him in a while.
He's the face of the franchise, but he's always wearing a suit at the end of every season and sitting on the bench. Nice player, but he's always hurt. And he got injury concerns. Big men don't get healthy. Once they start getting hurt, it's a trend. So the Knicks probably didn't want to give him that big money anyway, because knowing he's a big injury risk, he has all these injury problems. And it means you're stuck, and it means your contract may be a bad one, like a John Wall or Russell Westbrook in like a year or two. But you got to roll the dice sometimes. But I got to try this Anthony Davis thing also. It was funny talking about this at work, right? LeBron be getting these folks messed up, man. LeBron, when he leaves, he always waits to end his contract. He don't make any trade demands. Even though he got no trade clause, he never say, I want out. He just leaves. So anybody get mad at him, he can say he's free. Anthony Davis, on the other hand, hey, Rich Paul, go ahead and tell him you need to make a trade. Now, everybody hates Anthony Davis. Everybody hates Kawhi. It's just funny, like, how the guy who did for the Pioneers player movement always waited till it was free. Then the guys who say to the man a trade when you got a year or two left on your deal, and then you're mad when people get mad. But I just think you can't win that situation.
Brian takes short-term deals, so he can do that. Like, he bets on
Which is smart.
He bets on himself. Yeah, it is smart.
But,
so, I mean, we can't knock him for that.
Nah, I'm not knocking him for that, but I think also what's on the players got to realize also, they ain't LeBron at the same time also, because LeBron could tear ACL tomorrow. He'll still get the full super max, whatever they can offer him. And some of those guys may not get that. Now, Boogie will now because he looked good. But I just think that it just paints like everybody in a tough spot because the Pelicans got to take the scrap for the Lakers or bet on Boston, and it's a dead franchise. Hell, the fans didn't even go to Anthony Davis there. But I think Anthony Davis may be going to L.A. or even Boston, even though we know Boston has never been a free agent destination. I don't know why people keep saying that. Because he's that guy where he's very talented. He puts up great numbers. But he's not that number one guy who said, hop on my back, I can lead to the playoffs. Because I will say this. I know the West is tough. But damn it, Kevin Garnett used to get the T-Wolves in playoffs with no talent. At least give me the damn AC. Can you give me the AC if you're that guy?
Yeah,
maybe he's not Kevin Garnett, though. He might get those type of numbers, but he ain't Kevin Garnett.
And Kevin Garnett, and it's about the teams that he's around him, too. Like, he has trash around him. And it's a different league where the West is very top heavy. Most of the talent in the whole NBA is in the West. It's kind of evening out now with some of the young players that are back east, but at the same time, you can't really compare it what he's done to what Kevin Garnett did.
Even like Kevin Love more recently. I remember everybody hyping him up, and I was like, dude, can you at least give him the damn 8th seed? He's crying you won the top 2 or 3 Power 4. You know? And that's just something that I look at.
Kevin Love didn't have the skill set of Anthony Davis either, though. Like, Anthony Davis, from a skills perspective, is probably a top 5 player in the entire league. Like, I mean, but the West is tough. Look who he's playing with.
Jrue Holiday.
If they were in the league.
Now, part of it's on the franchise. They should have kept Rondo and just signed Boogie to a short-term cheap deal anyway. Sometimes you got to roll the dice. I thought the Lakers should have signed Boogie in all season just so he won't go to a competitor, just to have him on your team, on your book. But and people got to realize also, the Supermax ain't working because it ain't going to make somebody stay in a situation they don't feel like they can win in. And then you got the fan base saying, well, you ain't won no ring, you think. So they're going to go somewhere they can have a chance to win a ring.
Well, hold on. It's not working for who? That's the question. It's not working for who?
No, I'm talking about, like, saying, like, players like where people automatically assume every big name free agent is eligible for it, it's going to just simply take it. And like the Anthony Davises, the Kawhis of the world, they're like, no, I'm not going to sign that because I want to go to a better situation. And I think sports fans. Go ahead.
What I was saying is, like, who are we arguing for when you say it's not working? It seems to be working for the players who don't care about that extra money. It's not working for the team. But the fact of the matter is, there's too many teams in the NBA, and I'm going to consistently keep saying that because, like, outside of, the brother in OKC, PG-13, cats don't want to be in small markets, man. For the most part, the small market teams they're going to keep getting drained for their talent. Watch, it's going to continuously happen. I was listening to something today and talking about Anthony Davis, and they were saying that for as good as his talent is, he's not like well marketed, and people don't know anything about him. Like you look at some of the other guys up there in terms of the echelon of players, and they have a higher profile because of like where they play, not necessarily numbers they put up, but where they play. And also something else.
Yeah, those dude they talked about his unibrow for a while, and then that all died down, and he was just Anthony Davis in New Orleans.
Yeah, he's Anthony Davis that put up crazy numbers and does everything well on the floor, but who cares? He's in New Orleans. And also, I don't know how it is from what I read. Like a lot of players have an issue with the fact that the Saints and the Pelicans have like I think it's the president of the team runs both of them, and they said the Pelicans are like an afterthought. So they don't even feel like, they said multiple players have said this, they don't feel like they're a priority because, like, that's playing. And they're owned by the same people and run by the same people.
Jimmy, we got to be honest about this right quick. That team should not be in that town anyway. That town should not have a basketball team anyway. They should put a team back in Seattle or Vegas, somewhere where people want to live at. Because the NBA has a problem where they got too many. One, I feel they got too many teams anyway. The Bulls, I think the owner's too preoccupied hugging on a Frank Thomas Ricky card or something than worrying about the Bulls. But anyway, here's the thing. I think you got too many teams for the record. They got these teams in these markets where people don't want to live in. No, do you really think the NFL would have let a team in, like, let's say, I know St. Louis is not a really small market like in OKC, will let a team move from L.A. to Oklahoma City? It's a dead market. If Russell Westbrook and Paul George left right now, they will have to get lucky in the draft and hope those people stay there.
Exactly.
But then again, they got – but hold on, Jimmy. But remember, they could have kept Harden, but they want to be short $6 million to be cheap. So they can't complain also. Because all you got to do is pay the man $6 million extra dollars. And you still probably had it harder for those couple extra years. And so they can't have it both ways. But
at the same time, though, they were a small market team. It's easy for us to say just cough up the extra money, but OKC didn't know how viable they were going to be financially. I mean, it's great when you start off terrible and you hit on some good draft picks, but I don't know. I think hindsight's
always
a situation is always. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing:
having these squads in these flyover cities, man, it just doesn't work. Like imagine like if you're a young 20-something-year-old and you get to play, you're gonna make millions of dollars, but you live in LA and play in LA full time. Like I've been to LA.
Right, and I always think that's assumptions that people make anyway. Like I never heard Harden say that he was gonna stay there anyway. Dude wanted his own team. He didn't want to be third fiddle. So I don't think their $6 million even mattered. Boy wanted to get out and be a star.
But see, here's the thing though. Sometimes you got to make it where it's like you say, okay, we did everything we could. We try to max him out. He decided to make Green a passer. All right, cool. And so sometimes the optics got to be better. But the thing with the NBA, these players are looking at, I give them credit, where it's like they looking at well-run organizations. Hell, the Milwaukee Bucks, I never want to go to Milwaukee, but they seem more well-run now, so Giannis may stick around. Heck, I live in Phoenix, and y'all been to Phoenix. It's a nice place to live, but it's not well-run. So people aren't want to go there in their prime. Just like Chicago, great city, but the way it's so mismanaged. Hell, Anthony Davis is from there. He don't want to play there. So that's how you know how mismanaged the place is. They're not going to waste their prime no matter where it is.
It's because sports, and we've said this for years on years, it's anything else, man. Management matters. People say, well, see, people don't even like give coaches credit these days. They be like, oh, it's all players. Like, yeah, a huge part of what happens on the field, on the ice, on the court is players. But that travels not only to the coach, but it travels to ownership. Like, you know, sometimes you can win despite bad ownership or despite bad coaching, but for the most part, you need so many things to go right, and you need everybody to be on the same page trying to make the right moves, and that includes ownership. You know what I mean? And sometimes ownership's move is to get out the way, and sometimes, you know, they get in their own way. But you're right. You need a well-run organization. Who wants to play when everything's always in chaos?
Yeah, and those are your prime years, for example. And, like, I always use the Bulls as an example. Paxson and Gar Forman been there like 15-plus years. Fired so many coaches. They got a coach now who's so terrible that he's awful. That he's trying to run an offense through Robin Lopez. Yes, I know, that Robin Lopez. So who will want to play there unless you're like a Jabari Parker where it's the only team who will offer him big money? You know, so I don't care how big a city is, how nice it is, how many white women are there willing to throw their drawers at you. If you're not well run, and that's the one thing I give LeBron credit on, is that they looking at well run. Because Miami can't get the free agent because they maxed out with bad players. They couldn't even trade Hassan Whiteside for a two-piece of Popeyes right now. Nobody wants them. So you have to be well run because these guys are not wasting a prime year to be around mismanagement with bad coaching, ownership who's cheap, but crying they broke every CBA.
Well, all right, then. There you have it. Tobias, give us your you got a pick on the Super Bowl yet? I mean, if you don't have to because, you know, we're going to do our 30-minute show on Sunday if you want to wait till then to give your pick.
I got Rams 21, MAGA 28. And I predict Donald Trump will not feed them Mickey D's and Taco Bell at the White House because
half of them ain't gonna come. That's why.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now I say this real quick, also, and I'll run. The problem is like when people get mad at these players not going, like Clemson, for example. There's stories coming out that some of the younger players, the black players, felt pressure to go because they felt like they may lose playing time or things like that because they wanted to go, because they didn't want to go. But then you got some of the black players saying they chose to go and all that. But I just feel if you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, that's your business as well. Because there's a lot of black athletes that didn't go when Obama was in office because they didn't feel like going. So that's your choice.
All right. All right, well, thanks for your call as usual, man. We will holler at you next week.
All right, man. All right, peace. Y'all take it easy.
All right, brother.
All right, you
Have
too.
a good one.
All right, so some of the storylines surrounding Super Bowl 53 so far are kind of comical. Did you hear about the dude Jimmy? I believe he's in Pittsburgh. He's a producer on a local news affiliate in Pittsburgh, and dude, he put a graphic up when they were talking about the two teams, and they showed Tom Brady. So he put the graphic up that said Tom Brady under it said known cheater. Dude actually ended up getting fired for this. Let me see.
Yep.
I got the story right here. He was with the CBS affiliate in Pittsburgh, KDKA-TV. And, of course, the known cheater label was a reference to the Deflategate and Spygate and all the stuff that Brady and the Patriots have been accused of throughout the years. Like I said, it's Pittsburgh, so, they feel that there's some sort of rivalry there because they're two teams who usually consider themselves two of the best teams in the AFC. So there's a bit of a rivalry there. The fans in Pittsburgh don't really like them. So he said that it was a joke and it was just a little wink to the fans. It was up there for like less than 2 seconds. But, of course, in the era of screenshots, DVR, where you could pause it and get a nice little photo of it, and all the technology that we live in, it's on the internet, and it went viral. And even though he did it for 2 seconds, it's never going to be lived down. He seems to kind of be in good spirits. Like the only thing that kind of bothers him is now he has to find a new job, and he just bought a house. So he might be selling that real quick.
I saw the story. And it's funny because, I've noticed, I also posted something on our page with Scottie Pippen, right? Where when he was on ESPN and they had the thing dunked hard on Patrick Ewing. So I'm just producers playing with that a little bit instead of putting things straight. I guess this is part of the trolling era. They're trying to put up comical things. But when I saw that one, I was like, he might have went too far. Because you talking about you judged my man's character. It wasn't just somebody quid like the other ones I've seen.
It wasn't like wears Ugg boots. It didn't say Tom Brady wears Ugg boots. Yeah. You called the boy a cheater. like might have took that a little bit too far.
I'm like,
so people, of a certain ilk, they stick together. So somebody set him up a GoFundMe account to keep him afloat while he looks for a new job. So he's cool. He also said that he's going to donate some of the money to a charity in Brady's name once he finds new employment. So he's been getting interviewed. He's been doing the rounds. He doesn't sound like he's devastated by it, but I guess it came as a surprise because I guess he thought being in that Pittsburgh market, there's no way you can get in trouble for that. But I don't know. Maybe President Trump made the call. Can't go at his bros like that. Bros before.
Yeah.
Yeah, those.
So that one wasn't shocking considering his words. Like, oh, dog, you talking about his character, man. Like, you're not even making jokes. So,
Right. So, speaking of character, in a positive manner, Brandon Cooks, wide receiver from the Los Angeles Rams, this is his first year with the Rams, but he's doing a pretty nice gesture for the Super Bowl. He surprised the team's janitor. They wouldn't give his whole name. They just identify him as Alfonso. He surprised him with 2 tickets to the Super Bowl to thank him for everything that he does for the team day in and day out. They said, he and Cooks aren't even particularly close. He just said he just appreciates what he does for him. That just means Cooks probably knows how trifling the locker room looks after they all leave it. So he felt that it was probably bad enough that he needed to get this dude 2 tickets. He's flying him out. Hotel, everything's going to be set for the whole weekend. So that's a cool gesture. I would say, like most of the times, these guys who work in these little menial positions for these clubs probably grew up fans, but teams have been in and out of L.A. for so long, it's probably difficult to become that diehard. But I'm pretty sure no matter what, whether he's a diehard fan or not, I'm pretty sure he appreciates this one.
Yeah. I mean, we always like to hear stories of because we're so quick to point out when they do wrong. So it's a good gesture. You know what I mean? Gotta give him a shout out for that. So that's dope.
Because we definitely would have talked about it if he would have left feces on the floor for the janitor to clean up.
Absolutely.
That would have been viral. He would have got these verbal hands. All right, so some of the storylines surrounding the games, something that I thought about the other day. Remember the Patriots, quote unquote, dynasty actually started with the Rams. So one of the things that I think a lot of people are going to be looking for, whether they win or lose, it's kind of all going to depend on whether the Patriots, get back to this point next year, the year after, or if, Tom Brady gets old, or if he decides to retire and the team isn't the same anymore. Like, we might be able to eventually say that their dynasty started and ended, with the Rams. One version of the Rams was St. Louis, and this one is Los Angeles, but still.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that, though? Because every year people think that the Patriots are done. They think that Brady's too old, but then they keep showing up.
Yeah, I thought about that as soon as the matchup was announced. I'm like, wow, they started this with the Rams, and here they go with the Rams again in a whole different city, which makes it even funnier. That's
right.
How much time has passed. So this has literally moved to a different city. I don't know, man. Some things are just it's just meant to be, but at the same time,
Tom Brady was in his early 20s, now he's in his early 40s.
Yeah, it's you can never in my Tom Janovich, you can never underestimate the heart of a champion. Because to be completely honest with you, and I said it on the last show, even watching the game, the AFC Championship game, to me, he didn't even look that sharp, for the most part of the game. But when it came down to, okay, now we kept it close, now we got to go win this, he looked like the old Tom Brady. It was the more crucial the game got, the better he looked.
Exactly. He's the guy, he will always engage you in a late game shootout. He can look subpar all game, but if it's late in the game and the other team decides, okay, we're going to score, we're going to go back and forth, he's going to oblige you. And it's always last man standing. It's the same thing that even happened in the Super Bowl last season.
Yeah.
They started going back and forth. Neither team could basically stop each other, and then the strip sack came. If not for that strip sack, Brady was probably going to lead another, late game, nail in the coffin type win. But it always takes a little bit of luck and getting to that pinnacle. So no, it's an interesting prospect though that and not only could they start the dynasty and end the dynasty against the Rams, they're playing a second team in the Super Bowl in a row that they beat back in those days, back in the early days. You see, Philly kind of got their revenge. The Rams have an opportunity to get their revenge. Many people say if they win, they think Tom Brady should ride off into the sunset as a winner.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens afterwards. Either way, if he does stay, and like I said, they don't have the same type of success, and we never see them in the Super Bowl again, which is a lot to ask with this team because, like I said, they're kind of like the Spurs of football, but maybe on a bit of a higher level. Because with the Spurs right now, it's just like playoffs. We were like, okay, the Spurs are finally going to be trash, and then the Spurs end up in the playoffs again, but they're not getting to the finals anymore. This team is still getting to the damn Super Bowl after all of these years, and you wonder how.
And that's also because of quality coaching. When it comes down to it, you got one game.
I think that's the biggest reason, personally. But
you got a game.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest reason when you're trying to
in a series, the team with the best player will win a majority of the time. Not all the time, but a majority of the time. But when you talk about that one game where it's either you win or you lose, man, that's why it's tough because they have the master over there as a coach.
That one game, that mom spaghetti moment. If you got
exactly.
one shot,
for that mom spaghetti moment.
One opportunity. Of course, another great big storyline going into this is Sean McVay. Like everybody was already on the Sean McVay as a coaching prodigy train. Now that he's made it to the Super Bowl, that chatter has gotten even louder. And if they end up winning the Super Bowl, he's already going to be a legend in coaching circles. Let the fans tell it. The dude is just 32 years old. People noticed him with how he changed around the offense in Washington because, that's usually a team that's hard-pressed to get offense. And then when he left, things weren't the same. He goes over here, and in just, his second year at the helm, he already has this team in the Super Bowl. It's crazy. He's 32 years old, man. He has players on his team that's older than him. Tom Brady is he's really his old head. He's coaching against somebody 10 years his senior. It's crazy that this dude is doing all of this quickly. Any other interesting storylines that you can think of?
It's funny because I sit there and think about what's going to happen to him in 2019, the way the media works, if he wins this game against Belichick. If he wins this game against Belichick, I'm going to get so sick and tired of hearing him and his story. I mean, it's already ridiculous that we talk about how anyone anywhere remotely near him gets a job. But if he pulls this game, oh, God.
Blumpkin City. It's coming.
And he gives himself job security for at least a decade because even if things don't work out with the Rams, he's going to get an immediate hire.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so some X's and O's type stuff. Now, for those who don't listen much, Jimmy hasn't watched much football in the past 2 seasons.
No.
Really only when it's on and he's somewhere else, because you kind of can't get away from NFL football if you're out and about during NFL football anywhere that has TV screens. But, you know enough about sports. This is what you do. It doesn't matter if you watch or not. So we'll talk a little bit about X's and O's and what each team probably needs to do to win the game. And I'm going to start with the Rams since, of course, they're the underdogs. First of all, we get the cliche stuff out of the way. The moment can be too big for them. They have some guys on their team with some Super Bowl experience. Aqib Talib comes to mind. But you always look first at the quarterbacks. And I think Belichick and his coaching staff is going to do everything they could do to actually put the game in Jared Goff's hands. Not saying that he's a bum or anything close to it, because Jared Goff is a very good quarterback. But when you have a young quarterback like that on the other side, you got to take your chances and do what you got to do. So I think it's going to be imperative, and this is usually cliche as well, but in today's NFL, I don't know, you can kind of take a flyer or not on the running game sometimes. But I think for Jared Goff, it's imperative that they get the running game going to, keep the defense honest. In today's football, a lot of teams aren't even worried about keeping the defense honest. A lot of teams throw the ball to set up the run. But I really think Todd Gurley is going to have to be that guy that everybody knows him to be, with a little help from C.J. Anderson. Because if you remember in the championship game, Gurley was standing on the side for a lot of it, while C.J. Anderson was in there toting the rock and getting all the carries. They wouldn't say anything about it, but my speculation was he had to have some type of injury. And hopefully for them, in this 2 weeks leading up to the big game, whatever was ailing him that they didn't want to say anything about, I hope it's gone, because they're not going to beat this team without Todd Gurley being in there to help and keep everything honest in the short passing game and in the running game. So I think that's imperative for them. On the other side of the ball, of course,
like Gus talked about, you have to find a way to get pressure on Tom Brady. Now, this is a team where even their guys in the middle, Sue and Donald, can get pressure. As a matter of fact, Donald from the tackle position had 20.5 sacks this season, so that's usually not a thing. But we do know Bill Belichick on both sides of the ball is going to try to do everything he can to at least take your best option out of the game. And I've seen in the past, probably like the last few weeks of the regular season and the playoffs, teams did a lot to try to quiet down Aaron Donald. But that's when this team, who spent all of this money in free agency to get all of these names, this is when everybody else has to step up and play. It's going to be interesting to see. You got thoughts on that?
So I mean, to me, that is the key is to put pressure and put pause upon Tom Brady. Because when you think about like the games that the Patriots actually do lose, or Super Bowls they lose, or even playoff games they lose, people put their pause on Tom Brady. So, and as cliche as that may sound, that's just a fact. Like, me and Austin always joke about the game of football being won by fat guys up front, but it's so true on both sides, defensive line and offensive line. But I also think the Rams need to get up and get a nice size lead. Like, you don't want to get into the late game situation with the Patriots when you are the team with the least amount of experience, and they got Tom over there who seems to like relish those moments. So the Rams want to be going into the fourth quarter laughing and pouring Gatorade on their coaches and all that. You know what I mean? and for those out there, I'm honestly going to watch the bowl, and I'm going to watch the bowl for one reason. It really has nothing to do with the Rams or the Patriots. I just want to see Tony Romo perform. Like, I don't know how. I really wasn't a fan. I really wasn't a fan of him as a quarterback. But after watching what he did in the AFC Championship game, I'm like watching the game to see him perform, because that's exactly what he does. Is he performs. He doesn't call the game. He's performing. So I'm watching for Tony Romo. But with that being said, though, in terms of the Patriots, I feel like they need to do the exact opposite. Keep the game close. They're the older team. Keep the game close and use their experience to their advantage.
Right, because they got the guy that's in a close game down the stretch who's going to always keep it together no matter what.
Exactly. And the other cliche of football, but it's so true, which is why it's a cliche, is the turnover battle. Both teams. Like, the Patriots almost had some costly mistakes in that last game. The Hall of Famer, Julian Edelman, almost made a couple mistakes that cost him the game. So they need to chill.
That interception would have basically iced the game if Dumb Ford wasn't standing offside.
Yeah.
So from a Patriots standpoint, like, people are going to try to do something to take away Gronk. The Eagles did a pretty good job of that in the first half of the game last season, but in the second half, Gronk was everybody's daddy, moving the ball up and down the field. So that's one of those things. For 60 minutes, you are not going to shut that dude down for 60 minutes. This is the type of team where their names aren't big names, but they play so well together within the confines of that offense, because we all know White can get hot out of the backfield. Edelman can get hot catching 2-yard crossing patterns and moving the sticks, running after the catch. And once they lull you to sleep with that kind of stuff, they can go deep to people like Hogan that you really don't even respect deep, but that's why he ends up beating people, because they lull you to sleep with all the dink and dunk stuff that they do and then hit you deep to, guys that most people think are menial, but they play well within the confines of that offense. Same here with me, though, as what you said, Jim. The Rams have to find a way to get out, at least have a 2-score lead that they can hold on to, rather than expecting their young quarterback to join into that Brady shootout and put that kind of pressure on him. Not saying he won't answer the bell, but you'd rather not get into that situation, because maybe 8, 9 times out of 10, when you have people shooting out against Tom Brady, he usually ends up being the last man standing. And it always comes in the form of somebody scores in the shootout, but they score too early. And you leave Tom Brady like a minute and a half, and that's way too much time. So I like the matchup, man. It should be a pretty good matchup. And I'm starting to look forward to it. I guess the reason why I wasn't so excited, I guess I was spoiled a little bit by last year by having a rooting interest in this thing, and then the team kind of surprised you and gives themselves a slight chance to get back, and then it all goes by the wayside, and you're not excited about any of this stuff. But I think it'll be a pretty good Super Bowl. I mean, when the Patriots are in it, it's always a pretty good game. They've won 5 freaking Super Bowls by a touchdown or less. So,
it's also interesting because it goes to show you how long an NFL season is. Because in the beginning of this season, people were talking about the Rams going undefeated, like literally.
Right.
And who's going to beat the Rams? The amount of talent they have, and Dream Team, and all these things were being thrown around. And now they're underdog. And the Patriots. People were talking about the dynasty's over, they're trash, and you can start their rebuild. And what do you know? Right, they're a favorite in the bowl. To a team
that's the thing, though. Once they get there, no matter who they're playing against, they're always going to be the favorites because they just have so much experience. So once you get there against them, you just got to go earn it. So we'll see if the Rams can go out and do that. We'll give our picks, at least our initial picks, because I was telling people we'll have our very short pregame episode on Sunday where we give our final picks just in case we change our mind. But at the end of this one, we'll throw out winner and score right before we go off the air. All right, so real quick, I want to talk about the stat of the week because not just reading the stat, I want to get your opinion on this. Your man Jahlil Okafor of 76ers draft fame, in the last 5 games, especially without Anthony Davis being in the lineup, he's been playing some really good basketball. In the last 5 games, he's gone 20-10, 17-10, 18-8, 24-15, and 27-12. 27-12 in a win against the Houston Rockets. So my question to you, Jim, do you think he can sustain this level of play? Like, has he turned a corner? Or, like we talked about a few weeks ago, is he having his Jeremy Lin moment? Is this his Lin sanity moment? Or is Okafor here to stay?
Here's the thing.
Because he might get a shot if they trade, Bull.
Yeah, he's going to get a shot. He was a highly touted player coming out of Duke.
Right.
And people forget how highly touted he was. And it's crazy because I kind of felt bad for him seeing how things played out, considering you were that high of a pick and how you were perceived. So I was hoping that he got another shot. You know what I mean? Like, I remember he was here and he was fighting fans on the street. But I was hoping he got another shot to play ball because there still has to be some sort of game there. Now he's getting an opportunity to showcase his talent, and he's doing very well, but it's still too small of a sample size because don't want to be fooled again because I thought that this guy would be an all-star in this league.
See, for me, the one thing is, like, if you remember his rookie season, he averaged like 17.5 and 7 rebounds. Scoring was never the thing, with him. He could score the ball. I think the reason why things went the way they did in Philly, and we've been vocal about that. I didn't quite like how Philly handled him, throughout the last season and a half of that whole fiasco anyway. But the reason why he was kind of phased out in Philly is because he's more of an old school big man. He's not that new prototypical, very athletic, can run up and down the court like a gazelle, take you out top and do a whole bunch of stuff. Like he can stretch you away from the basket and dribble, but he has a very good back to the basket game. And his problem was he never played a lick of defense. He has slow feet, and he wasn't a monster on the boards. And I think a lot of that came from effort, because if you look at the numbers in these last 5 games, there's obviously some effort being put forth there, because, he's showing you that he can rebound at more than a 7 rebound per game clip. So for me, like the offense, I think, that's just going to be there if you're on a team that's willing to play the kind of offense that he shines in. He might get an opportunity here, because if, the news that we broke, the big news of the week that we're going to talk about later, Anthony Davis and his trade request, if that goes through, then, Okafor is going to step up, get more minutes, and we're going to get a chance to see if he can keep doing that. But, yeah, I think to stay on the court and to stay relevant, he's going to have to start playing some defense and doing more on the boards. I never had a doubt about his scoring, though. So we'll see how that goes. That is your stat of the week, though. Big Ja trying to ball out.
Ja Rastafari.
All right, so real quick before Jimmy tells us what's on the ground, I just want to let you guys know. You know the drill. Y'all can check out our website, warroomsports.com, if you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, if you want to give a Super Bowl pick, if you want to talk about Anthony Davis, if you want to talk about the Knicks trade, holla at us, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, but if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. What's the deal, Jim? What happened this week, man?
You already know. And While You Were on the Grind is brought to you by Sportsbook. If you're tired of reading the same old sports books with the same old sports lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, and all kinds of BS that doesn't make any sense, you go get a copy of Sportsbook, which you can find at sportsbook.com or at our hub, warroomsports.com. Sports is an acronym. Smart people only read the sport. Written by yours truly, and it's quite frankly the greatest sports book ever written. So remember, warroomsports.com. Now it's time to talk about what happened while you were on the Grizz Naive. As they would say on some of my favorite Ratchet TV shows. Yeah, I mean, Grizz Naive. Anyway, yeah, what's wrong with your Papoose advice would be like what's up with that, man? Like, y'all struggling. Papoose advice to Joe and Sin in the last Love and Hip Hop.
Oh,
man.
man.
Y'all struggling in y'all relationship. So the idea, how we gonna fix this is y'all get married. Huh?
Yeah, that made absolutely no sense. Like, this dude's taking a situation. They're going through something that a lot of people get divorced over. And he thinks the remedy to their issues is to get married. All right, Pat. Hat's a little too tight. You might want to loosen up to fit it or get a haircut under it or something. But, yeah, that made no sense.
Yo, that was bugger. That stuck out to me last show. I mean, shout out to our listeners. Like, why are they talking about that? Like, War Room Ratchet TV coming soon. Anyway, the first story I got to talk about is the Cola Wars, man. And those who don't know, like, so everybody has their preference, Coke or Pepsi. But the Cola Wars are real. Like, if you've ever met anybody that works at their Pepsi or Coke, you know how real those Cola Wars are. To the point where, like, they don't keep none in their house. They won't allow you to drink one around them. Like, the Cola Wars are real. You know what I'm saying? It's like Cripple Cola and Blood Pop, really. But Atlanta, where the Super Bowl is located, is home of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola provides thousands upon thousands of jobs. They have a museum there. They have their corporate headquarters. So Atlanta is Coca-Cola town. And Pepsi is the sponsor of this year's Super Bowl. So they're coming into town, and they're trolling Coca-Cola with all sorts of banners and ads everywhere, talking pork chop greasy about Coca-Cola in their own town.
No. I have close friends, a close friend who works for Coca-Cola down there. She's a Coke exec. Yo, we've been out, not even like, when you work there, the Cola Wars are real, Jimmy. Like, we've been out to restaurants, and if she finds out that they serve, like, Pepsi products, like, she'd be legit ready to leave. I'm like, yo, it's not really that serious. Just get some water.
I know a boy I know a boy who works in a Coca-Cola factory. He's not even an exec, and he checks beforehand to see what they serve before he even goes to a restaurant.
Yo, first of all, that must be a hell of a job. They must do some great things for their employees to make you like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just haven't found a job, where I work for somebody else that made me go hard for them in that type of way if it wasn't our own thing, like War Room Sports. Like, I'll diss ESPN in a minute for War Room Sports. But, other than that, I just haven't found that. So another thing, and if you ask the person he'll probably tell you this as well. Like, they can't bring any Pepsi products into the workplace, even if it doesn't say Pepsi. Pepsi owns Frito-Lay. You get caught with Doritos, that's your ass. You get caught with some corn chips, that's your ass. Like, cola wars are so real. So to see Pepsi taking advantage of the fact that they're, one of the lead sponsors of the NFL, and they're blanketing this Coca-Cola town with blue billboards with these funny sayings on them, it's crazy because I think it's one of the most epic troll jobs I've ever seen. Let me see. I got like two of them here. One of the signs read, "Look who's in town for Super Bowl 53." And it's a big old Pepsi joint, and they have like certain billboards that light up the Atlanta skyline. Another one that they have plastered around the city says, "Hey Atlanta, thanks for hosting. We'll bring the drinks." So if you're like the soda company that runs this town and you have to watch this company that's been your arch rival for century or so, come in and just disrespect you and troll you, like, I would love to be a fly on the wall at a Coca-Cola meeting right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts some vandalism breaks out over this week of Cola wars.
They're going to figure out a way to try to get back. And it's always interesting to me about the cola thing is how we clearly have a big two, but in terms of size, they're not even close. Like, Coke is by far the biggest brand in that space, to the point where the number one consumed beverage in the world is Coca-Cola, and number two is not even Pepsi, it's Diet Coke. Diet Coke sells more than Pepsi.
Coca-Cola.
yeah. Like, it's Coke.
Yeah.
But the one strategic move that Pepsi did, which kind of helps them in terms of their revenues or what have you, is what you said, that Frito-Lay purchase was major.
Right. They own Frito-Lay. They own like Quaker, like the oatmeal and the cereal and all that kind of stuff.
But
so yeah,
but just in the beverage space.
I go into my friend's house and she has none of these products. I'm like, you can't tell me you don't like Quaker oatmeal. FOH.
and the crazy part is humans are so weird, right? That I was watching I think it's on like Hulu or thing. They have this thing where they go over the whole history of cola in America. And they say humans are so weird that the one thing Coca-Cola did was kind of like change their bottle shape. So Coca-Cola has a patent on their bottle shape. You ever look at a Coke bottle, like it's different than everybody else. And for some reason, the human brain works in a way that it resonates with that shape. It's to the point where people say, she's shaped like a Coke bottle. Like, that's the thing where they say that the shape of the bottle was, like, kind of sexy in a weird way. And humans react to that. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah,
this is like marketing psychology, but it's weird because it works. But anyway, with all that being said.
I think it was Skyview when we posted that on our Facebook page, and he's in the chat room now. He was telling a story of how he went to a restaurant in Atlanta, and I can attest to this as well because I've done this before. And he asked for a Pepsi product or something like that, and the staff just basically looked at him like he had 6 heads or something because he was in that town asking for a Pepsi product. And shout out to Neil in the chat room. She says she prefers Pepsi. When I used to drink soda, I fully agree. I always thought Pepsi was a little bit sweeter than Coke. And for a minute,
in college, I think I low-key was addicted to Pepsi for a minute. Just, regular Pepsi and Mountain Dew. I think I had a little bit of an addiction. But I don't really bang with soda like that anymore. Maybe once in a while when it's all that's there to drink, but I don't really buy it. Only thing we buy with Fizz is ginger ale, and that's just because it's good for the bubble guts. But Cola War's crazy.
I don't drink soda either. Even though I'm Team Coke, just because I'm a Coca-Cola shareholder, because that was literally like one of the first stocks I ever bought when I got into the stock market was Coca-Cola. And to be honest with you, that also shows how powerful they are. Is because when I first learned about stock, this is when I was a young boy in the 90s. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then someone said, well, buy something that you recognize. And the first two companies I bought were McDonald's and Coca-Cola. And that was only because their marketing was like ingrained in my head. Where I know what this is.
That's funny though, because your play cousin Killer Mike, he said his grandma bought him some Coca-Cola stock when he was 5 years old.
That's probably because they
from Georgia. That's probably the only stock you even think about. Like, let's buy some Coke stock. Everybody got that for Christmas. Does Magic Johnson does Magic have some kind of stock in Pepsi? Because Skyview said Magic Johnson is winning. He said he owns Pepsi, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he doesn't own Pepsi, but does he have some kind of stake in it?
No. I could check that, but I don't know. I know for a fact he's not the owner of Pepsi, not at all. I know Junior Bridgman, who we talked about last week, me and B. Austin, who played for Milwaukee and is now like he's worth a couple $100 million. I'm gonna ask you the question I asked B. Austin last week, Devin, in a second. But getting back to Junior Bridgman. He all of his Wendy's, and he got like a huge stake in Coca-Cola. He got a huge amount of stock, and he runs like their bottling facilities now. What I was asking beyond, it was like a random thought, but it wasn't a random thought. So we had a story last week during the show about the microwave Vinnie Johnson, right? And how he flipped. He only made $5 million in the NBA, and he flipped that into several $100 million through business and car dealerships and such. And one of the other stories was about Junior Bridgman, who played in the 70s, and he was also a six-man. So the question I had to be off, and I said, I'm doing some reading. I was like, I wonder if it's about being a six-man where you make a nice salary, you're not quite a star, so but you don't have the expectations of the face of the franchise, but you make enough money where you can still sit back and enjoy life and not have to like compete with the top guys. I wonder if we did a study. Is it more six men that have better success after the game? Do you think there's anything to that? Or
that's funny because I think it could be something to that because like you're saying, they're six men. They're not superstars, so they're not banking on their life being funded by endorsements and all of that kind of stuff. So they might get it's kind of like. This is a type of analogy. It's not money related, but it's kind of like how backup point guards and backup quarterbacks seem to become better coaches.
Good coaches.
They become good coaches. So, and it might be you have to plan in your mind, like they might have to think about life after basketball a little more than those dudes in the starting five, and especially the superstars and the megastars, because they might have something that could fund their life for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't, but they're just so used to being so famous, like they just think they're going to be famous and rich for the rest of their lives. So that's why a lot of them end up going broke, whereas the six man's like, I got to think about life after sports. It might be something to that, man. We need to do a study. Six-man study.
Yeah, I did do a study. I said because what I'm thinking about is when you're a six-man, it's like you're not at the bottom of the bench, and you're still important. You're just as important. Some will say a six-man is just as important as any starter. So you're going to make a certain amount of money. You're going to make more than the guy who's like the bench warmer. But you don't have the pressure as being one of the starting five. Like, there's something about being in that spot, the sixth or seventh man. That's like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
You're in the rotation.
Though, because we don't see Lou Will, Jamal Crawford, and Lamar Odom in too many commercials. So
you don't.
They gotta get their money right.
Yeah, so it's just a thought when I read the Vinny story. I was thinking in mind, like, I wonder if there's something to that. But anyway, getting back to the Cola Wars. The Cola Wars, they are real.
Found what he was talking about, Jim. He said Pepsi Cola has agreed to sell. They agreed to sell a stake in its Washington area bottling operation to Irvin Magic Johnson and Earl Graves.
So he has
so he got a stake in the Washington area. Yeah.
Yo, now
that's what I was wondering. I'm like, I'm pretty sure whatever it is, it's probably a nice stake, but Irvin doesn't own the company.
And that's kind of what Junior. That's kind of what the dude Junior Bridgman did. And Scott, you can look up his history. He was one of the top. He was like, I think, the top Wendy's franchisee right now in the country, and he got rid of all of them to get a stake in Coca-Cola bottling. Now here's how ill Coca-Cola is as a company. Coca-Cola is so successful as a company that they literally have two separate companies. One called Coca-Cola, which is the beverage which we're talking about, and Coca-Cola bottling is a whole separate company traded on the stock market with its own ticker symbol. And it's
they bottle a bunch of bullshit that ain't even Coke.
They bottle all Coke products, but then they also bottle like Dr. Pepper and a whole nother. They bottle some of their rival sodas. Like that's how big Coca-Cola bottling is.
That reminds me of though.
I know way too much about Coke.
That reminds me of like the Samsung iPhone thing, where doesn't Samsung like sell some parts to iPhone or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, they make the chips for iPhone use. I know way too much about cola for someone who doesn't even drink cola. I drink infused waters in my Contigo bottle. But I just it's just
shout out to Dasani and Aquafina.
Yeah, shout out to Smart Water. You know what I mean? Smart Water is Coca-Cola too. Anyway, and Honest Tea is also Coca-Cola. But that's either here or there. But shout out to Pepsi because this is amazing trolling. It's amazing marketing.
Yeah,
and I heard Coca-Cola getting pulled out of the bowl altogether. Like they didn't even do. They usually when Pepsi sponsored like last year, Coke ran like a ad that came right before the game started. They pulled that too. I don't know if it was like a song, like I don't want to do with y'all, or I don't know what it is. Speaking of trolling, though, we got a couple more. Got another trolling story that happened while you were on the grind. That's the Saints coach Sean Payton, who wore a Roger Goodell clown shirt to a press conference. And he was kind of like fake flagging too, because he wore a little sweater over it, but he like pulled the zipper down enough so you could see what it is. He really ain't about that life.
Yo, the New Orleans Saints are salty as hell, and they have every right to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of people like, get over it. The game's over. I mean, this is the Super Bowl, and these type of windows don't last forever. As a matter of fact, I'm on record saying I think the Saints' window to win another Super Bowl is shorter than a lot of people think. So, I'd be mad as hell too if I was them. But like you said, he went to his end-of-the-season press conference with a shirt. He had a shirt where the collar kind of zipped, and like you said, he zipped it down, and the shirt featured Roger Goodell's face with a red clown nose on it. Now, he didn't just prominently feature this. Like, you had to be really paying attention to see this. And since the stories come out, Jimmy, I've seen plenty of places on the internet where you can buy this shirt for those interested in clowning Roger Goodell, quite literally. But, yeah, Sean Payton, it's a nice troll, but like you said, he's not completely about that life because he still went in there covering it up. So, look, man, if y'all think they cost you a bowl and he could have done something about it, I'd have went out there. That would have been the only shirt I had on. Take the fine and move on.
It's crazy.
Don't be a punk.
It's crazy because I thought that play was, like, absolutely egregious. But I watched a couple YouTube videos he down to play, and from what I see now, the ball was tipped.
Uh-oh. So I haven't even noticed that. Because if the ball was tipped, then it means nothing. And they crying over nothing.
I saw a couple YouTube people like break it down and they slow it down and they show it real slow and real slow. And it looks like the ball was tipped and its trajectory went off after it was tipped.
They slowed it down like they slowed down Spitgate in the NBA.
Pretty much, yep. And I'm like, wow, why isn't this on the news that the ball was tipped? So, but anyway, it is what it is. If you're going to you got to commit to something like that. If you're going to do it, don't be halfway trolling. You're halfway crook. You know what I'm saying? You're scared to death. You're scared to He's scared to death.
He shiz naive.
Yeah.
Shiz naive.
So last story I want to talk about from you online. This is Detroit Lions linebacker Bates punched a police officer. He's lucky to still be with us because we cops that have killed people for less.
Right. All I gotta say is, it's good to see Detroit linebackers finally hitting somebody. But this is the wrong thing to do. Basically, they said he had an incident in New York, and was he being I forgot what actually led to his arrest. I think he was whatever happened. He's now after the punch. I think it was they said he was accused of refusing to pay a $32 cab fare. So I guess when the driver called the police, they arrested him. When they took him into the station, they told him, okay, it's not anything serious. We're going to do whatever, and we're going to let you go. They said he was agitated the whole time, and when they uncuffed him, he punched the policeman in his face. He was taken to the hospital, and I believe he had a concussion, so he hit the ball kind of hard. So now he's in a whole lot more trouble for doing that, but as Jimmy pointed out, at least they didn't kill him. They did tase him, though, to get him under control, but they didn't kill him.
They said
the only reason was probably because they were already in the police station. They didn't want to pop him in the police station.
For the last couple of days, he's been undergoing multiple mental evaluations. So, the first thing that comes to mind when you hear about an NFL player hitting somebody and they're doing a mental evaluation, where my mind goes. You know what I mean? so maybe he really has. I don't want to say an excuse. It's never an excuse to do anything like that. But you're banging your head every day for a living.
Yeah.
You know you got it. You know what I'm saying?
Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
So
tell the truth.
That's the first thing that comes.
Yo, I will keep saying that.
That's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear a story like that. Because ain't no same man of color just gonna swing on the cops.
Right, in the police station. I mean, it's like 35 cops.
Yeah.
You might have an excuse. We'll see what happened to him.
Yeah. Somebody need to tell him the truth, man. But anyway, those are the stories that happened this past week while you were on the grind.
All right, I'm going to give y'all some quick birthday shout-outs before we get into some of this NBA talk. And like I said, finish the show off with our Super Bowl picks. But these birthdays do not have a sponsor, so we're going to get right into it. Birthday shout-outs. Mario Williams, who was famously drafted over Reggie Bush. In hindsight, for everybody who was complaining, that was the right pick. I thought it was the right pick then, even though Reggie Bush was a monster in college. It was the right pick. He turns 34. Shout out to him. Vernon Davis, NFL tight end. He turns 35 years old. Now, this next one is going to make you feel old as hell, Jim. Othella Harrington turns 45. Why is Othella Harrington 45 years old? Shout out to Othella of Georgetown fame. Played in the NBA for a little while, but he played in Georgetown with AI. Shout out to the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, Doug Peterson. He turns 51 years old. Crazy part about that, Jim, is he's considered a young coach, a young up-and-coming coach, and your man is still 20 years his junior. One of the Super Bowl coaches this weekend. Yo, that's really crazy. Nolan Ryan, he turned 72. And we got a bunch of rest in peace shout-outs. Rest in peace to Ernie Banks. He was born January 31st, 1931, died January 23rd, 2015. R.I.P. to the late, great Jackie Robinson. He was born January 31st, 1919, and he died
October 24th, 1972. Rest in peace, shout out to Jersey Joe Walcott, the boxer. He was born January 31st, 1914. He passed February 25th, 1994. And last but not least, rest in peace to Don Hudson, who was born January 31st, 1913. He died June 26, 1997. And we'd be remiss if we didn't give a nice War Room birthday salute to one of our brothers, one of our partners, one of our co-hosts who's not here with us today. The Bull B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander, is celebrating a birthday. So shout out to him and shout out to all
Happy
these
birthday,
other people on their birthdays. Yeah, gang, gang. All right.
It's my birthday. Yay!
So that's your birthday shout-outs. And like I told you guys earlier, you can check out the website at any time, whether we're on the air or not, warroomsports.com. If you want to call in and speak with us about any of these NBA topics that we're about to get into, you can dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline, 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. I saw that we had some people on the switchboard a little bit earlier. I guess we took too long and they hung up. If y'all out there listening, call back. Get your rap on. All right. So, NBA rap. Let's go.
Yes, sir. It's time to talk about this thing of ours, the National Basketball Association, and that's brought to you by Digital Extreme Technology. If you or your custom website, stop using Wix sites, step your game up, called Digital Extreme Tech. You can do that by going to digitalextremetech.com, where you can call them 267-205-4203, and when they say, hey, how'd you hear about it? The War Room, of course. And that's how you get the special Illuminati hookup. That's digitalextremetech.com, 267-205-4203. But it's time to talk about this thing of ours.
Yeah, I've heard some more Curtis Blow stuff lately on on Rock the Bells. Like, yo, why was he ever that dude in hip hop? No disrespect, but
we've come a long way.
Yeah, no disrespect, man. But even back then, come on, guys.
We always start off with the players of the week, and this past week it's the Greek Freak. In the East and in the West, we got PG-13 Paul George having a tremendous season after getting 8 gallons of fluid drained out his elbow.
That's right. And the Greek Freak led the Milwaukee Bucks to another 2-1 week. He averaged 30.7 points per game, 15.7 rebounds per game to go along with 4 assists per game. Paul George led the Oklahoma City Thunder to a 4-0 week. One of those 4 games was a heartbreaker to my Philadelphia 76ers, where Paul George hit a 3-pointer and one at the damn near at the buzzer to beat us in a game that we definitely had won. But he's averaging 31.5 points per game last week, 9 rebounds on 56.8% shooting from the 3-point line. So shout out to those two guys. Balled last week. They both been balling all season. Paul George, maybe not a top candidate, but he's definitely stepped his name into that MVP race.
Mm-hmm.
And he better than Mute.
I mean, it's easy because I was joking, but they did say that in the offseason that one of the biggest things he did was he had his elbow ring. It was something ridiculous, a lot of fluid that came out of his elbow. But I'm like, damn, I wonder how many other cats they elbow drain if that's what happens as a result of that. So he's getting back in the PG-13 form. It's lovely to see, although it's still a waste playing in OKC. But with that being said, though, the Greek Freak is still tearing things up. I didn't see Jason Tatum's name up there. Shout out to Court. I know you listen, beloved. And stop fighting on that lie.
Yeah, I got nothing for that. I ain't speaking on that no more.
Anyway, that's what we got to get to the biggest story of the week, and it seems like all the sports. And part of me feels like this is just a conspiracy. The NBA finds a way during the World Series, during the Super Bowl. They're kind of like they're doing what football did. 24/7, 365, basketball is relevant. So Anthony Davis story, which is the big story of the week. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Anthony Davis trying to get out of New Orleans has been the biggest sports story of the week.
It definitely has. It definitely has. It seemed for a while, Jim, that Anthony Davis was going to be the quote-unquote good soldier for them and play it out as long as he could. But with Clutch as his management, and that was, everybody made a big deal out of that when it happened earlier this season. You kind of knew once he switched that a power move was coming, even though he always said the right things. But that's what Clutch is about. You know what I'm saying? They have the most powerful player in the league with LeBron James, so they're no strangers to power moves. And, Anthony Davis publicly requesting or demanding a trade is pretty much a power move. But when they first demanded the trade, he said that he would play out the rest of the season. So I think, he was saying that, he was demanding the trade for the off season. But now they've kind of ratcheted up the pressure on the Pelicans, and they're trying to get them to get something done before the trade deadline, which is basically a few days away. Or not a few days away, but it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was also fined $50,000 by the NBA after Rich Paul told Wojo that his client wants to be traded. So he's basically being fined $50,000 for making his trade demands public. But Rich Paul, like I said, they're in the business of power moves. You know exactly what you're doing when you go to Woj to do this instead of just going to the team. So what did you think when you heard it? Surprised or no?
Yeah. I wasn't surprised. I mean, this came right in the clutch. I'll be here all week. But I wasn't really surprised. And I thought it was a big deal when I first heard about the fine, but then, as I watch content, they say, well, this isn't the first time it happened. It happened to such and such and such. Like, a number of players have did this before. They just look, charge that to the game. It's interesting because my whole thing with this, and the same thing with the Kyrie move, is I want to see how the league reacts to this. Because, many people don't like people teaming up, and I get all that. The thing about teaming up is I don't know if it's been good for the league in terms of just marketing the league itself, because it's almost like a second game. It's like
right.
Fantasy sports come to life where people all season talk about what does such and such play here, what if he go there. It's like a second game going on amongst the hoops actually being played. I see just as much talk about where someone will possibly land or where they're going to go. And to me, it's helped the league not to stay relevant, because the league's always been relevant, but we talk about living in the digital age where everything moves at the speed of light, and you talk about just being on the tip of people's tongues. It keeps the NBA talked about. It's in a weird way. So even if he lands there, the talk will start to be about, okay, so now what's Boogie going to do? Is he going to stay in Golden State? Is such and such? It's like a second game.
Right. All right. I wanted to wait on something, but we'll go back to AD in a minute because it's definitely the biggest story of the week. But we got some breaking news here. We got some breaking NBA news in the house. The All-Star reserves have been named from the Western Conference. We got LaMarcus Aldridge, Anthony Davis, Nikola Djokovic, the Joker, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Russell Westbrook. That's your reserves from the West. From the East, we got Bradley Beal, Blake Griffin, Kyle Lowry, Chris Middleton, Victor Oladipo, your man, my man, Ben Simmons, yeah, Benny, and Nikola Vucevic. Interesting. We know that Victor Oladipo is going to be replaced. you look at this now. I haven't thought about other players right away. You just look at who made it,
I'm trying to think, like,
and you kind of think like, okay, the people who made it seem to have deservingly made it. I'm looking at the East right now, but you look at that team and you're like, man, the East, like these dudes have been balling and they probably should be all-stars, but this team is trash. like Chris Middleton is a baller, but like Chris Middleton doesn't sound like all-star Chris Middleton. And the fact that Kyle Lowry, as good as he turned out to be, the fact that he's a perennial all-star, I'm like, yo, the East is lacking a little bit. Vucevic, somebody you never expected to make an all-star game, but he deserves it the way that he's been playing. Blake Griffin's kind of been balling out of his mind, and Bradley Beal as well. But it just still looks weak compared to the West when you look at Aldridge,
Absolutely.
Davis, the Joker, Lillard, Clay, Cat, Russell.
And that's what
but
I'm
remember,
that's
they're going to pick
about.
teams, though, so it's not going to be East-West, so it really doesn't matter. Bron going to end up picking Ben Simmons on his team.
But that's what I was talking about when I was telling, like, Tobias, it's hard to judge somebody in this day and age. It's always like a completely different game. And then when you think about the fact that a word came out this week that Blake's trying to get out of Detroit, like that's what I mean. The NBA is like it's in constant motion, man.
Yeah.
And I think all of that was set in place, the commissioner and David Stern. So on one hand, like they're going to try to do something to combat this because it has to piss the owners off. But at the same time, it's like the NBA commissioners have a job. They work for the owners of the team. But at the same time, this is probably good for the NBA overall. But specific owners have to be pissed. If I own a small market team, I got to be pissed.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So yeah, let's go back to the AD thing. Yeah, and that's true. Like small market like New Orleans, and everybody's trying to get out of what they're doing because it's difficult for you as a small market team to quickly put the pieces around these guys to make them want to stay. So yeah, it's definitely if you're an owner like Jimmy said of a small market team, like you don't really know what to do at this point. If you want to win, like if you just want to make money, then that's one thing, that can be done. But if you actually want to win, it's hard to keep a guy there because I don't know, there's no allure to the city, so you're not grabbing free agency. Like we're looking at the Knicks and how they're gutting they're the biggest city in the damn world, and they have trouble getting free agents to come there now because even if you are in a big market, like you guys touched on earlier, if your management sucks, I don't know, man. Yeah. It's hard out here for a pimp. So AD, the most of the rumors has been surrounding him going to the Lakers, to team him up with LeBron. So the Lakers are trying to put packages together to send some of those young players and some of those draft picks. It seems like now the Pelicans wouldn't even take their call until today. They finally picked up the phone because the thought is that they no longer like to help the Lakers out. Your man Popovich made sure he did his job and called the Pelicans to hate on the Lakers, to tell them
how is that not tampering
to help them, just like he did last year when he refused to send Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers. But that's a good question right there, though. Like, why is he not getting fined? If that's not tampering, then what is? He's sitting here trying to convince somebody not to make a trade that could be good for them. Like when you make a trade, you have to worry about yourself. It's just like, when people talk about the Pau Gasol trade.
Pau Gasol.
And how the Lakers killed that trade because they ended up winning a championship. But the Grizzlies were nowhere near a championship, so they had to look out for themselves. And that trade actually did well for them, kind of made them a perennial playoff team for at least a decade after those players, came into their own or whatever. And that's what you have to do. You're not looking to, well, if I trade them Pau Gasol, or now if I trade them Anthony Davis, that might put them over the hump for a championship. If you're not in the championship mix, then why does that even concern you? So don't let Popovich, don't let him convince you to not take a deal that's good for you because he's worrying about the Lakers being ahead of the Spurs. He's not thinking about y'all.
Yeah.
So that's weird to me. And that should definitely bring up some tampering charges of its own.
Yeah. And I don't understand how that's not tampering, but, it is what it is. I like to see guys like Kawhi and AD, like really call these teams, like play for Toronto and then still sign somewhere else anyway. That'd be amazing because then it's like, well, I told you before I came here, that's what I was going to do.
Right.
And by all accounts, he is trying to park in L.A. because my man just bought a crib.
But people think they always have a chance now because Paul George then gave everybody hope because he said he was doing that and he ended up staying. But ain't no Russell Westbrook on Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you can get close to and think like, all right, we might actually be able to do something together. You ain't really had that in Toronto. You got a nice team.
No.
But I think, they nice in the East. After that, man, might be a waste of your time.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what Anthony Davis is going to end up doing, but there's a lot of teams out there, of course, that are interested but have to tread lightly because of the fact that it has come out that the Lakers are his first choice as well. And he's basically saying, wherever I go, I'm going to end up being a rental. The Boston Celtics probably could put a better package together for him than the Lakers, but they would have to get rid of Kyrie Irving in doing it because of the roles rule. Now, if they could, it's possible to have those two on the same team, but they would have to go about it in a different manner. But the Celtics could put together a hell of a package for the guy, but is it worth it to them to take that risk, and then he ends up not re-signing? So looks like the Lakers are front runners, but it's looked like the Lakers have been front runners on the last couple of big name free agents.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
And and you don't know. So it's like the Lakers, you can't keep getting away with not giving up your assets to go ahead and go get the dude. And I think they're trying to do that. But like I said, until today, the Pelicans wouldn't even answer their call. I think everybody pretty much wants a package that includes maybe like 2 draft picks, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma. But they're trying to throw Brandon Ingram off on people with Lonzo Ball and a couple of draft picks. So we'll see if they can come to a common ground. But I know how you feel because we talked about it. Like if Kyle Kuzma had to go to get Anthony Davis, then you're pretty much pack him up and drive him to the airport your damn self. So
get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Always like
don't be
getting the best player. Although
don't be a Cleveland.
You can lose more talent. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't be a Cleveland when you don't go get Amari because you don't want to give up what's the ball name? Who ended up being Trizzy?
He ain't in the league no more.
Yeah, Triz Naif.
Oh, who was it? Yeah.
What is his name?
And what's the scenario that Tobias always brings up, where the Bulls could have had somebody, but they didn't want to get rid of somebody that's complete and utter trash. I don't know who it was. But it's always so many of these stories in NBA history where it's like, we could have had, and then you insert great name player here, but we didn't want to get rid of, and then you insert bum there. Not that, I'm calling Kuzma a bum. I'm saying if it's a matter of getting Anthony Davis, a generational player, and I mean Kuzma's a good player, but does Kuzma have legendary? Not right now. He can't develop it. He'd probably be better off developing it somewhere else anyway. So it might be good for him.
Right.
Let him go to the ball and get a green light.
Exactly. Damn, why can't I think of his name now? Cleveland Bull.
Wasn't Anthony Bennett? That was before Anthony Bennett, right?
Nah, yeah, it wasn't Anthony Bennett. It was J.J. Hickson.
That's it, J.J. Hickson.
J.J. freaking Hickson. Come on. And then they ended up shipping him anyway to Sacramento. So yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Yo, speaking of like green lights and draft picks and such, what do you think about the whole Knicks trade? I see some Knicks fans online who are going crazy, calling it the dumbest thing ever. I see some that actually like the trade because they have enough money in the free agency to go after both Kyrie and KD. Who knows what'll happen there? But what do you think about the one thing no one's really talking about is the Dallas. I want to know what you think about the Dallas side of this first before you give me your Knicks perspective. What do you think about the Dallas side? Everybody's so hung up on what the Knicks have done or what they're doing. No one's mentioned the fact that Dallas got young Heathrow on their team.
Yo, I love the trade for Dallas. Porzingis, if he comes back healthy, I mean, you get to team him up with a young Luka Doncic. I don't even want to say his last name. Young Luka. And that's a tandem that could be great in the NBA for years to come. It's a European tandem, so people are probably going to look at it right away as it being a little bit soft. But, Porzingis, it's always a question of health. You know what I'm saying? If you can get him healthy, you saw what he could do in the NBA when healthy. So if he could get that injury bug out of here, come back healthy, and stay healthy for the most part, that could be a hell of a move with two great young pieces to build around. On the Knicks side of things, okay, you can kind of see what they're doing. And I didn't even mention Dallas also got Tim Hardaway Jr., which is, that's a pretty good pickup in his own right. His contract is a little bit more than what it should be for a player of his level. And I think that's a part of what the Knicks was trying to do. They were trying to get rid of yet another bad contract. But do you notice this trend with the Knicks? Like, they're always doing stuff to get rid of bad contracts that they signed. You know what I mean? So now they're going to have like $76 million in cap space or something like that, with the ability to sign two. The names that are floating around are like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. If they end up doing that, then all is fine in New York. The Knicks are back. But as of now, the franchise's fans are just tired of seeing this same scenario play out, and then nothing happens. Like, we were in the chat earlier, and somebody was saying, I think Tobias was asking, like, do you think the Knicks did this because they know that they're going to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving? First of all, I don't believe in any handshake deals in the NBA because we've seen too many people get burned on the back end. So I don't know what they think they know or if it's just a shot, because somebody replied to that like, oh, Kevin Durant is definitely in their scope. But somebody tell me a year when there's big free agents out there that aren't in the Knicks scope. Like, the Knicks were supposed to get LeBron some years back.
So
the Knicks were supposed to get this guy. Knicks were supposed to get that guy. So
what happens if
what happens with the 76 if they don't get it?
You're stuck with Pooh.
That's the thing. Then they're going to go out and overpay another guy on the level of a Tim Hardaway Jr., and Knicks fans are going to be mad all over again. Because they got, Jim, the plan is big right now. I see Knicks fans like, yeah, the ones who do like it. Yo, this is cool because we're going to get KD, we're going to get Kyrie, and we're probably going to end up drafting Zion. So they think they're going to go from basement to championship.
Yo, I forgot
in
about that
one season. So if that happened for them, which the NBA,
the fix is in.
Right, I was about to say, which the NBA offices are in Manhattan, and it's been a long time since the Knicks were good. Hey, it could possibly happen. If they get the number one pick, then we know the fix is pretty much in if they get the number one pick. If you give them the number one pick while they're sitting on $76 million of cap space, come on, son. I already got my ideas about the draft lottery and the number one pick, but they'll just be proving my point a little bit further if that happens.
I forgot all about the fact that they be writing the lottery with a chance to get that high of a pick. I was focused so much on the fact that I'm like, what if nobody comes and you gonna end up like paying a 6-man a starter salary? Like, it's just interesting, man. But at the same, I think it was also Tobias or Katie Mack, one of them in our chat. It was like, look, sometimes you just gotta go for them. Like, what's the alternative? Sometimes you just gotta go for it. So we'll see how it works out for the Knicks. I just thought it was interesting. No one was thinking the Mavericks, and it's like they made a move too, which could solidify them for some time to come. We'll see.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and the Knicks on the other side, they get DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews. I hear that there's a chance that they might waive Wesley Matthews. That kind of intrigues me as a Sixers fan. I'm like, they waived Wesley Matthews. We better be trying to make a little run for him.
So now imagine everything works out the way we just said, and you end up next year with Kyrie, Zion, KD, and DeAndre in the middle.
And DeAndre, then the Knicks are back. Then the Knicks are definitely back. We got a caller on the line. I think it's the second time I tried to get to him the first time, but you hung up, homie. We got Rob calling in from Cali. Rob, what's going on, good brother? Got to make it quick.
Yo, it's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a. Slippery Slope, and because it's raining outside. But, I always carry my umbrella, and I'm talking about something a little bit bigger. But anyways, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's up? Good,
how are you?
That's good. All I got to say, I got to say three things. One, I got to say, about the trade. I'm a little on it because, I know this is a power move, pun intended, a very power move. This is a top 5 player in the NBA. This is a top 5 player in the NBA. Why not go at him? I don't know why in these trade scenarios we're not letting go of our shooting guard that can't shoot. At least keep one of the young core. Like at least they should keep at least one player like Kuzma or maybe Alonzo. At least keep one of them. Like that Brandon Ingram, all of our draft picks, and half of us to go. And KP, that's just me.
Well, Rob, that's not really up to y'all. Like you said, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. If you expect to get him, it's going to be hard to just get him for nothing because it's not exactly like his contract is up. So it's not like they're pressed because they're going to lose him in the off season. If they wanted to force him to be there, then they could. So trading him now gives them the most leverage that they could possibly have as a team. So if you get rid of him now, you're gonna have to come off something for him. They're not just gonna take your scraps. They're not gonna let you keep your best young player. That'll be the first name that they go after. Dude, what are you doing in the background?
We'll see.
You all right, Rob?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. It's just everybody here. Cali people were laughing because everybody in the East Coast, y'all got snowstorm, and we just got 70, 60 degree weather, but it's raining right now. So I think y'all got Jones did a hoodoo on us. That's the here or there.
That's gonna be 65 here on Tuesday, so that's coming.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This weekend's supposed to get warm, which is crazy in itself. But listen, man, we all got our we wish we was somewhere else.
It sounds like you're getting chased by a Doberman Pinscher, man.
Y'all was burning down neighborhoods a couple months ago.
But we didn't burn down neighborhoods. Well, I was in the 60s, though, but nah, man,
not like that. Not like that. I'm talking about the fires that spread. But anyway, man, moving on to what you said, you got to give something to get something, man. You got to be able to give a player. And the fact of the matter is, the only player that's untouchable in the Lakers is probably Bron. So outside of that, any of those guys can go.
If he does this move, when y'all talk about, can y'all give a round of applause for Magic? Because everybody was down on him. Everybody was saying he only got the job because he's Magic. Everybody was talking mad about my boy. You know what I'm saying?
He did only get the job because he's married. What changes that?
Well, hold on though. I didn't hear any criticism of Magic. I mean, maybe we have two different equal chambers, but I never heard Magic criticized. I heard people say if anybody can get it done, it is Magic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's wrong with thinking, okay, he got the job because he's Magic? You Magic. That's the benefit you get. You get stuff because you're Magic.
You work. Almost damn near every former NBA player has a GM job, bro. Nobody said the same thing about Jerry West. Nobody said the same thing about Larry Bird. Joe Dumars.
How you know? Jerry West been a GM since like the damn 80s. How you know nobody said that? You probably wasn't even here.
No, the thing is, who cares? The thing is, you work hard, like as Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson worked hard to have his name getting him a job.
That's be Magic Johnson, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's you work hard. You work hard. I got a problem with us. We like not you per se, Rob, but people in general. He only got that because, listen, people work hard. Like, you work hard so you can say, Dev only got that job because he's Dev. Well, you damn right. Dev worked his ass off so his son can walk in and get that
what are
damn
you
job.
doing in the background, though?
Oh, no, that's his raindrops, man.
Yeah, ain't no
rain like that?
Sound like that, guy. Sound like you're in a horror movie or something, man.
It sounds like you're eating a box of a whale. What? What's going on over there?
What?
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy over there, cuz.
I do want to say this too.
I do like whale box. My fault. Go ahead.
I do want to say this to black folks who are voting in the next election. Don't be fooled by Kamala Harris. I live in California. She's part of the industrial complex. She's part of the industrial complex.
Kamala Harris.
No.
I don't think anybody's fooled. She gets killed on my. According to
what I ain't seen nothing positive about anything. Yo, real talk. The only people I see defending her at this point is like AKAs and people that went to Howard. That's the only people I see defending.
Let's tell you what I'm talking about the AKAs. I do not trust any Divine Nine that practice a paper bag test. Word from mother.
All right, man. Well, we gotta go, man. We out of time. Real quick, Rob, and Rob, you really just have to give us your winner and a quick score. We gotta go. Like we really gotta go. Give us your Super Bowl prediction.
Let me see. Dude, first of all, shout out to LA. You know what I'm saying? Rockers P. You still haven't responded to my inbox. But anyways, man,
you jumped in his DMs.
35. Hey, man, he was calling out Eagles fans. Somebody want to catch the fade. I have to do where they from. I'm like, hey, B, we want to meet up. Yo, man, I'm from LA.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I'm from LA,
I forgot
LA.
you was trying to take. You was trying to take his invitation to exchange hands. I forgot about that.
I mean, come on. I'm from LA, dude. Boys in the hood. Do we have a problem here? Do we have a problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
What does that mean?
But okay. The score, I'm gonna say 38 to 17, and I just feel that this young team, I don't know how the Rams.
Rob, who's gonna win the game, dude? We gotta go. Who's gonna win the game?
The game's gonna be won by the young man, the youngest head coach.
All right, Rams 38-17. We hear you. All right, man. Thanks for your call.
I would choke Fred for.
Got it. Yo.
Rob,
somebody got rain Rob in, man. Rob don't know what hurry up means.
I thought you did there. Somebody got a rain Rob in. Like, you don't even do that. Anyway, thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Twitter. Shout out to everybody in the group chat. Salute to Casey Mack. I see you in there, shouting us out. Special thanks, Gus, for giving the Super Bowl pick. So tune in Sunday morning. We're going to do a 30-minute Super Bowl pregame tailgate. Call in to give us your pick, your thoughts on the game on Sunday morning. Check out all of our social media sites for times. Then check us as we recap Super Bowl 53. We'll also catch up on everything happening in the NBA season next week. So hopefully Anthony Davis is somewhere else just so we can talk about that. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the Super Bowl, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here. Catch everything we do, all of our social media, all of our content, everything can be found at the hub, which is WarRoomSports.com. Pick up a copy of my book, which is Sports the Book, at sportsthebook.com or at our hub, warroomsports.com. But remember, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast or against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Yo, every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Portrait secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, Doc Bay, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up here coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
How do you know if you're not the world's best driver? Well, there are your friends.
You know you're tailgating, right?
There are your kids.
Who are we racing, Dad?
And there's man's best friend.
Want to go for a ride?
Fact is, 94% of us think we're good drivers. DriveWise from Allstate lets you prove it, with feedback to help you drive safer, giving you the power to actually lower your cost. Now that you know the truth, are you in good hands?
Download the Allstate app to get DriveWise and save up to 15%. DriveWise optional, savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
McDonald's chicken isn't just any chicken. It's delightfully crispy, yet tender and juicy. You know, it's chicken worth crossing the road for. And now you can get some of McDonald's delicious chicken for less, like our classic McChicken sandwich for $1. Or our 6-piece chicken McNuggets made with all white meat chicken for just $2. Get yours now on McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.